The next resident that we'd like for you to meet is Lidia Selkregg. Now, she didn't die until 1999, so there may be some of you here that actually knew Lidia. She was known as a fiery, outspoken woman who was said to have spoken truth to power. Lidia Selkregg is portrayed by Audrey Kelly. I am Lidia Selkregg, and I was born in Italy, in Florence, in 1920. I did not come to America until 1947. That was after World War II. I was what you call a war bride. Well, I didn't mind leaving Italy. Times were difficult for my family in the old country. My father died in World War I. My sister died then too. My mother raised my two brothers and me alone. She was a teacher. She understood the value of a good education. So when I was grown, I attended university in Florence. I wanted to study medicine. But before I could complete my studies, Mussolini's fascists brought war to my country. I joined the Italian resistance movement to fight them. I worked with the partisans, the men and the women who had been wounded fighting the fascists and the Nazis who came later. We kept the wounded hidden in a hospital that was underground. We had to be very careful not to let anyone know what we were doing. If not the fascists, not the Nazis, not even our own countrymen. If anyone found out about us, we would all be killed. But that was a chance we were willing to take. We believed we could overcome evil. We believed we were right to try. And then war ended. I could go back to university. But I had changed. I had seen pain. I had seen suffering. I had seen death. I didn't want to study medicine anymore. I changed my major. I got a degree in geology. Geology was interesting, and I liked it. But those years, I never could forget the injustice that good people suffered under the fascists and the Nazis, and, well, I vowed never to stop fighting for what I believed was right, what I believed was socially just. But I was a young woman then, and I wanted life to be normal again after the war. So one night, I went to a dance with friends. We went to where they were playing big band music. An American serviceman walked across the floor towards me to ask me to dance. He said his name was Fred Selkregg. He swept me off my feet, and he stole my heart. We were married in 1945. 2 years later, we left Italy to move to America, Fred and me and our new daughter, Alicia. We settled in Illinois and Chicago, and Fred enrolled in university and earned a law degree. And we had 2 more children, Sheila and Leaf. We were a happy American family. But we didn't always get along real well with our neighbors or with our friends. Our ideals, our ideas were different than theirs. In time, we decided we would move somewhere else. We looked at maps, political maps. You were all Democrats in Alaska in those years, and that is where we thought we should go. So we loaded up a large trailer with everything we thought you needed to live in Alaska, hitched it up to our Buick Roadmaster, which had plenty of room for Fred and me and our 3 children and the dog, and we headed north. Now, all I will say about driving up the Alaska-Canada Highway in October 1958 is it was a harrowing encounter with narrow roads, sharp curves, slippery descents, and steep drop-offs into valleys below. But we made it to Anchorage. And not long after, Fred established Selkregg and Son Adjustment Company. And I went to work for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And we made many new friends. After the 1964 earthquake, I worked with the U.S. Geological Survey. I helped identify natural hazards that resulted from that earthquake. It was about then that people started calling me the earthquake lady. I guess because of my efforts to educate the community about earthquake risk right here in Anchorage. Well, not everyone wanted to hear what I had to say, but I knew how to speak truth to power, even when it was a truth they did not want to hear. Oh, I suppose it was what we saw during the war that made Fred and me so passionate about wanting to fight for what was right, for what was socially just. We marched right here in Anchorage, right down 4th Avenue with our children in support of civil rights in 1964. We joined the ad hoc organizing committees of Young Democrats, and we protested that war in Vietnam. We fought to stop the underground nuclear tests right here in Alaska's Amchitka Island in 1968. And we supported banning discrimination in housing and in employment based on sexual orientation. I believe when you bring sexual preference into it, you bring bigotry into it. And I cannot stand for bigotry. I stand for what is right and what is just for all of us. I loved this country. I love this city. And I respected the democratic form of government in my new country. I continue to support my causes by serving on the Anchorage Assembly for 3 terms. I was an Anchorage Planning Commissioner, and I developed and taught a graduate level planning course at University of Alaska right here in Anchorage. To the end, I never stopped fighting for what I believed was right, for what I believed was socially just. Nor did Fred, who died a few years after me. And now, it is our children and our grandchildren who have to fight for justice and rightness. And that's a fight I hope you all join in too, because that was my story. And thank you for hearing me out.